For more on climate change and its impact on Africa, Kinyanjui Koimbori, an agriculture and climate change expert, joins me live via Skype from Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. Mr. Koimbori, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you so much for having me.
So much being said at Sharm el-Sheikh right now, but what challenges is Africa faced with when it comes to climate change?
Thank you so much. Yes, there are so many challenges that Africa is being faced with, but the main challenges is that climate change has impacted agriculture in Africa, putting in mind that over 80% of agriculture in Africa is rain-fed. So we have had an issue of agriculture being affected by rainfall. And all I can say is that also we have been affected negatively when it comes to our water bodies being contaminated. We are having issues of even our infrastructure being destroyed because we have not been climate proofed. So yes, the problems of climate change in Africa, they are catastrophic at this moment.
And what parts of Africa are most impacted and how?
Yes, most of the Africa, out of the 54 countries or 55 in Africa, I can say that almost 90% of them have felt the impacts of climate change. And the worst hit, there are around 10% of them, that is Kenya and the Horn of Africa. In fact, there has been an estimated 40 million people who have been rendered climate change refugees because of the impacts of climate change. We have lost a magnitude of animals due to drought, and this leads to the release of methane when the animals die. Also, we have seen drought, which has led to famine. So the catastrophic effects have been huge, even to the economy, because we have had huge economic backdrops. This is the first time in Africa we are actually feeding wild animals, like even elephants. This is something we have never had to do or even tackle. We're even allocating money that has been allocated for health and education to go into fighting climate change. So it has impacted all sectors, and especially most of the countries in Horn Africa and Kenya.
And what are African leaders they are proposing to do in order to effectively deal with the effects of this climate change?
Yes, in this COP27 meeting that we have yes, there are over 130 world leaders and over 30,000 delegates globally. But in Africa, we have seen a handful of them, which is also a big backdrop. We had around 20 to 30 African leaders being available. But these African leaders, what they're calling for is they want to see financial aid being given to developing nations so that we can be able to adapt and mitigate against climate change. So this is a clarion call. We are calling to the developed nations to put up and to meet their pledges of the 100 billion US dollars yearly that was supposed to go into the Green Climate Fund. And if not, as the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has said, that we are heading towards climate hell. And the accelerator is fully on if we do not help Africa in terms of combating climate change by giving them the financial aid that they need.